Bonjour, everybody! And there's a nice breeze coming in through the window. It's great. It's great. Today's video is actually going to be a little bit different than what I have been doing for you. I've been cutting together a lot of footage from my trips, and that is great. But I do want to keep this blog kind of, you know, upbeat and fresh and kind of try out new things every now and then. I mentioned this a couple of videos back that I was gonna do kind of like a haul video, which if you're new to YouTube or you don't know what that is, it's basically if a YouTuber goes away or, you know, goes on a shopping spree or something, or you know, goes to a new town, let's say, oh, my London haul is like stuff that they bought while they were in London, or my, you know, spring beauty haul, makeup products or hair products that they bought for spring, whatever. I'm going to do mine for when I was in San Francisco. These are the things that I picked up. Where to start? Of course, we did make it over to the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm not a huge fan of like novelty gifts, and I kind of hate being in those stores that are like huge gift shops and things and museums and whatnot, because I think that, you know, museums and places like that are very much about the experience and not about things that you can buy and give to people. But I have to get my parents a little something when I go away because they don't travel a lot. So I picked up this Golden Gate Bridge magnet. I thought it was pretty cute. Yeah. And then I got another one that just, it's kind of artsy and it says San Francisco on it. I really liked that too, so yeah. It has a little cable car. I always look, when I go away, I always look for things that are kind of unique to the area that I can't really find anywhere else. And so I actually found this little mug. I don't know if you can see it really well. It's this beautiful blue, kind of a teal mug with a little Golden Gate emblem here, and I asked the guy in the shop about it, and it was actually handmade. There's somebody who lives in Marin County, which is the county that San Francisco and Bolinas and everywhere we were, that's where it is, and she actually hand makes these and she signs each one of them, and so each one of them is different. There's, you know, no two that are the same, and I really prefer having gifts like that where it's unique. And I also like to support local artists. I think that's really important. You know, there are people who devote a lot of their time and energy into making these things just because they love to do it, and I think that that's really cool. And I try to do that when I shop for like jewelry and things too. So there was actually this Golden Gate necklace that I was looking at, and it was a silhouette of the bridge in like gold and silver, and it was really, really beautiful, but it was $120, and sorry, I'm all about having good pieces of jewelry, maybe splurging on yourself a little bit, but this was $28, so much more affordable. And I guess maybe it's a lot of money to spend on a mug, but I was supporting a local artist, so I don't, you know, really mind paying a little extra to, you know, support somebody's passion. So I'm really excited to use that. Now, when we were there, we did get to go to Haight-Ashbury, which for you non-hippie or historical American history folk out there, admittedly I wasn't really familiar with it when I went out. I know, bad hippie, bad. Haight-Ashbury is a street in San Francisco where all the musicians from like the 60s and 70s used to hang out. You know, there's peace signs everywhere. There's Bob Marley painted on the side of buildings. It's really cool. There's like old record shops and herb shops and and really cool coffee shops and that kind of thing. So it's just like a really awesome area. And there were actual hippies walking around. It was awesome. And we had really good falafel while we were there too. Definitely wanted to check out Haight-Ashbury just for the vibe of it, because I kind of like that hippie, hipster lifestyle, you know, peace, love, and Harry Potter. My jam. So while we were there, I got two things. I actually got this peace sign bracelet, which I just found in a random shop that we happened to stop into, a random clothing store, and it was kind of sitting in a bin, and I picked it up. It's kind of made of like bone type materials, and so I wear that pretty regularly now. And then I also was sifting through some things, and I found this snake ring, which looks like it was formed from one little piece of wire that was twisted around to make a snake. And I really like snakes. I have a lot of jewelry that has snakes on them, and I was actually wearing a snake ring that day that I got it, but I really like this one because it fits on my forefinger. I have really fat fingers. And it's unique, and I haven't seen anything like it, and I don't know, I just thought it was really cool, so I picked that up too. Before I went out to San Francisco, somebody had told me that I wrote like Jack Kerouac. They had read some of my poetry, and they said, "You really remind me of Kerouac in the way that you write." And I was like, that's a really big compliment, because I knew who he was as a writer, but I hadn't actually read any of his stuff before. So I, decided to, just take the plunge, buy one of his books. So I got Big Sur, and I've been reading it. I started reading it before I went to San Francisco. I'm not all the way through, but I really like the way that he thought and the way that he wrote about the world and his surroundings and just like beautiful things that he found. He was really inspired by San Francisco, and he wrote about it with such fervor. One of the places that he used to hang out was this bookstore called City Lights, and they're actually a publishing company that's still around, and they still operate the bookstore. And the place inside is just gigantic. There's books wall to wall. There's like 3 floors inside, and upstairs is a poetry room where he used to go all the time with his friends, which I thought was pretty cool. And I know that I'm, just recently hopping on the Kerouac bandwagon, but I did want to pick up something by Kerouac while I was there, so I got Mexico City Blues. It's a collection of poems, and Ginsberg raved about it, and so I'm really excited to kind of read his poetry rather than his prose, which is cool. In City Lights, I also picked up, let's see, it's called The Yage Letters, Redux, and it's by William Burroughs and Allen Ginsberg. I've read some Ginsberg before, never William Burroughs, but this was actually published by the City Lights publishers. It's a bunch of letters that the 2 writers wrote to each other while they were like doing expeditions in South America and Amazon and stuff. So I think that that's really interesting. I'm not really interested in biographies of people, but I do like reading diaries and journals of people. So this is that. So I'm really excited to see the exchange between 2 human beings who I don't really know very much about. And then the last book that I got while I was there is The Unabridged Journals of Sylvia Plath. I've read some things by her, and I've liked just about everything that I've ever read from her. And again, it goes back to me liking people's journals more than, books about somebody. So I'm actually really excited these are unabridged, they haven't been edited, and I'm really excited to kind of see the way that she thought about the world, because her perceptions of things were really, really interesting. And, my writing is my writing is my writing. I feel that all the time. I already know what she's talking about, and I've read 8 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't math. 8 words. Her life ended so tragically, and I'm curious to kind of get into her head and her mindset and kind of see what her life actually was for her, rather than, the things that she decided to share with people in her writing. I think maybe we were at Golden Gate Park or something, and I picked up this little journal, and it says, "They should tell you when you're born, have a suitcase heart, be ready to travel." And I just loved that little quote. I have a problem with buying journals because I buy them but it takes me a while to fill them up. So, and people give them to me as gifts because they know that I like to write, and that's great. I love receiving journals from people. But I try not to buy them when I go out because I have so many that I haven't used yet, but I couldn't resist this one. It's filled with little travel quotes every few pages, and it was adorable. So I decided that I should probably have it. Our last night in San Francisco, we were in Fisherman's Wharf with my cousin, and we were just having like a nice dinner and walking around and stuff. And I did kind of go into a novelty shop just because they were having a sale. And I picked up this shirt. It has a bear on it. I didn't see any bears when I was in San Francisco, but it's a thought that counts. It was kind of cool and tribal and edgy, funky. I could pull it off. And then this sweatshirt was only $10. $10, man. And I'm always looking for comfy sweatshirts, and it's so soft. That is it for my San Francisco haul. I hope you've enjoyed this video, kind of a change of pace for me. I really don't know what's to come on this channel. I'm really hoping that we can discover it together, and that you are going to keep coming back and taking on life's journeys with me. So if you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends, share, whatever you want to do. And if not, then we'll see you around. Life's gonna grant you a bunch of great adventures, but you gotta be sure to catch the little ones when they come along in between too, because sometimes those ones become the most meaningful. Goodbye et au revoir.